A year and a half ago, we purchased an Airbnb down on Cape Cod. This is the full breakdown of how much it actually makes. So full transparency, we purchased the house for $735,000. We put in about $200,000, so it's about $950,000 into the actual renovation. There's another $50,000 that went into the actual furnishing of the house. And then we've been floating the rent ever since, which isn't exactly an expense the same way that the renovation is. So call it $1 million is invested into this Airbnb. So let's start with revenue. How much does it actually generate? This upcoming year, based on rental income that's come in through the end of the peak season, which is right around September, we're estimating that the house will bring in $135,000 annually. I think on the low side, it could be $120,000, and on the high side, it could be $150,000. It really is gonna depend on how the season goes. Last year, not including the principal payments on the mortgage, our expenses totaled about $60,000. So my expectation, that includes everything. On a $700,000 loan, maintenance of the pool, the hot tub, different things around the house, any ongoing expenses that we would have incurred along the way. So there was a lot less usage of the house last year in the peak season. We were only around for basically August and September. So I'm just gonna say it'll probably go up by say $10,000 this year. So my guess is that this year our overhead will be about $70,000 total. There are of course still Airbnb fees and there are cleaning fees which typically get taken off the top. So the revenue that I've given to you estimate is already without basically, or with cleaning and Airbnb's fees already taken out of it. So the goal for us is to profit on paper about $50,000 or more this year. So the profit could be pretty solid this year, only it's not just about profit, it's about cash flow. How much actual money do we have in our hands, in our bank accounts at the end of this year? I think a reasonable goal for year one as we continue to make investments back into the house would be anywhere between $30,000 and $60,000. It's likely that we may end up making some investments back into the house, like buying a sauna or something cool like that to get additional rent, but that comes out of our yearly cash flow. So I want to be realistic about that. I think 30 to 60 grand is reasonable and very possible based on the real rents that are coming in now and coming in through the rest of the peak season. Now we're onto the paper gains. In the area that we purchased in, typically property goes up about 5 to 7% on average, which is definitely above the national average, which I think is around 4%. On a $1 million house, the goal here is to have it appreciate essentially $50,000 to $70,000 each year. The beauty of this is that over time, the same way inflation makes US currency worth less each year, the property value actually goes up. So it's the inverse of that, I should say. The beauty of this is that every year, the value of the house will very likely compound, especially over time. So this year might be $50,000 to $70,000, but 20 years from now, it might be $100,000 every year. The money will be worth less because of inflation, but it's awesome that it continues to compound and essentially beat out US inflation. So now here's the big hidden mystery one that is pretty complicated and definitely requires some work on your own end. If you have an existing income, using the house, especially as an Airbnb, to basically create write-offs for your personal income is one of the biggest ways that you can make money both with real estate and with Airbnbs, or I'll just say short-term rental properties. So with this, there is a program called accelerated depreciation where you take what is traditionally 30 years, a 30-year term to depreciate your home. And with that, you're basically depreciating the entire value of the property, which usually takes place over 30 years, in the first year or two. What this does for you is it allows you to write off well into the six figures. And the beauty of this is that you're maximizing whatever your personal income is, aside from whatever you're doing on your short-term rental. So if you make $100,000 in 1 year and you get a $100,000 write-off on your property, you're gonna save whatever your tax bracket is. So let's just say 30% or 35%, which is 30 grand, 35 grand. You're gonna get a check back when tax returns come out. So in our case, my estimate is that I think we're gonna have probably anywhere from $50,000 to $150,000 cash back from the tax write-offs that we would get. So that's a pretty big value, and guess what? That's our money down on the next house. And this time it would be a bigger house, less renovation needs, and we'd have way more experience and know exactly what we were doing getting into the next one. So on a more regular basis, let's assume we save about $30,000 of net cash for the foreseeable future on taxes. And then right now we have appreciation of about $60,000 and we have cash flow of $50,000+. The goal here is on $1 million investment, we're gonna basically have $150,000 of upside a year. Some of those are paper gains, and of course cash flow is king. So having that $50,000 cash flow is going to be massive into buying the next property or reinvesting into this one or paying down debt, all those different things. If we get the write-off we're hoping for this year and we achieve the rate of cash flow that we're looking to get to, it's likely that we would have 6 figures to put into the next property and then some to basically reinvest into this one to make it nicer or add additional amenities to raise the nightly rates. So what do I have to report back on, at least for this year? The house isn't just paying for itself, it's actually giving us a solid return. When fully optimized, it's making 20% a year. And then of course, at the end of this thing, as I already mentioned, we're for sure gonna roll in what we have and what we make into the next place and continue the cycle. And by the end of this, hopefully we have a really nice portfolio of real estate as we get older and as we kind of move into the next phases of life that are producing income and obviously servicing customers from all over the world, which honestly has a lot more value than you'd think it would. And you build a really special experience for your guests. You cannot buy a standard house and expect unique results. You have to buy something and make it special, or buy something special and then put your spin on it and be unique in the market. And only then will you see the dramatic $1,500 a night results that all of us are chasing. It's a very cyclical business model, and it's one that I can confirm now has really strong demand and very highly possible for all of the goals that you might have for real estate, buying a house or investing into, a property or an asset. So if you're interested in this and you have questions, please feel free to reach out. Feel free to put something in the comments below. I freaking love this business. I think it's one of the best businesses on the earth, and I really, really highly recommend trying it out. Taking some of the advice given here and any other if you'd like to see more or you want more insight into the numbers and the details, I'm happy to break it out. Otherwise, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for watching, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Cheers.